All right, guys, let's get started. So I'm just gonna search for transparent. I think sci-fi city would be nice. And I actually should just type in PNG while I'm at it. I'll click images and let's see what we get. What do I want? What do I want? That's kind of cool right there. It's like a spider city. I mean, anything will work. I'm going for it. Let's see, PNG Mart. Huh? Let's view the file and see if I can snag this thing. So if we go in and go to save image as, it does say PNG, so we can get that. So I'm going to save that somewhere about on my i2M folder. Got a little demo thing here. Let's save it. Oh, bam, it's there. Now I can come over here, delete the default cube. Nobody wants it. That's so sad. Okay, wow. Yeah, that's pretty bad. I'm just gonna use a little bit of this. You can't even see it. I think I closed the laptop on like some coffee spill or something. I don't know. God knows. That's a little bit better. Let's try this again. I can't do a tutorial like that. That's almost good. I don't even know, guys. I don't know. This has to be right. You're gonna go through it with me. That's a little bit better. But I'm kind of wondering what that other like fuzz is. I think I've got the chroma thing still on there. It's supposed to black out the background, but I don't need that. All right, so we're gonna get into this. Let's just add the subdivided plane. And like I said before, if it's too much for you, that's like 100. I think it's 100 subdivisions. Then you can go ahead and hit W because it's going to jump you right in to edit mode. So you can hit W instead of subdivide. You can hit W this way, and you'll have it unsub. Man, where is it? I'm losing my mind. There it is, unsubdivide. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put a button for that on there once I remember that kind of stuff. All right, so we're going to add the displace. And there's something I forgot to tell you guys when we're doing this, like a finish. Like if you don't know, no one's going to tell you. So I got to tell you. There's a trick to making this look really good. Now I've got my subdivided plane. I can add my displacement texture setup, which is very basic, by the way. It's very basic. It's the bare minimum of what you need. So it's presumed that you do have a little bit of knowledge, but if you don't, you still get really cool results. We can add the sub-D in just a minute. And what I want to do is go over to a material preview. Don't forget to do that. And you come in and turn on like scene lights if you have any. You don't have to worry about it if you don't. And that way, when we're under that kind of setting, like that world, whatever it may be, if you come here, you'll see that you've got some HDRIs. You can kind of change these around. Then you'll be able to control the HDRI right here. Now what I'm going to do is add that file that we just grabbed. Go here, where was I? Demo, my Halo folder. If you don't know, you got thumbnails now. You can see everything inside of Blender as an actual thumbnail. Some things don't show up. So most of the blend files should. I guess that is the representation of that blend file. So I'll grab this PNG, and I'm glad I did that. That looks really cool. I just hit 7 for the top view, and I'm a terrible person, as usual. I don't have my screencast keys on. I expect everybody just knows what's going on. And so now you've got this. And what you can do, and like I said, I didn't put the button back in it yet, but it's okay. You can just scroll down here to the displacement, and you can drop this down. And we'll see where it is. Okay, it's under settings. I always forget that. And you can go to bump only or displacement, however you want to do it. And bump only will kind of save you some memory. I am going to be doing displacement. And for right now, I'm going to want to be on the CPU because I don't want to burn out all the GPU data that I've got doing this. Now from here, we just jump over to cycles. And same thing, turn off scene world, just use scene lights, and then you'll have this. And now this looks pretty cool, but you're definitely going to want to go and add your sub-D right here. And you've got a sub-D preset. It's all ready to go. And if you go into experimental, you'll be able to pull up the adaptive subdivision I think it makes it look a little bit better, but it's not 100% necessary. And of course, you can play with the exposure. That's the big reason why that is there in the first place. Now, I do want to mess around with the actual scale of this. So I think, if I'm correct, it's going to let me do it. It's not going to let me do it. So 0.290. Of course, that could have been something else I was doing. Or 0.9, whatever makes more sense to you. And I will switch over to the GPU, so I'm not torturing everybody with that terrible visual. Oh, and just in case you don't know, I'm using the 3.6 beta, which is out now. This thing seems really stable. So if you hit 7, look at this, the top view, you've actually got a displaced mesh. Now, all you have to do, and this is basically going to end the tutorial, is come down here, and with that displacement that's going in there, just take the color from that PNG and plug it directly into the principal BSDF, and you, voila, will have all of those textures beautifully and placed on there. There's obviously more to it than that, but if you were to, say, bring a light into the scene, turn that up a smidge, give it a sci-fi type of color, maybe Shift D, put a couple more here and there, and do some stuff like that. This could be a really cool render. Also, don't forget though, because that sub D doesn't have it, I'll have to change that. If you come into the sub D, the render levels are very low. So bring those up to like 5 or 6. That way you get to see your entire mesh. And for those of you who do not have the Light Magic add-on, thing's pretty cool. I'm not trying to use this as a plug, but I do have a free version on there. And this has a free version as well. So if we come into Preferences, go to Install, go here, I gotta go back so I can see what I'm actually doing. And let me find my Light Magic folder. It's funny because I got 2 folders here. And I'm believing that the 3.3.3 version will do what I need. If I come down to lights, yeah, this is the basic version. But this one works just fine. It'll grab every light in the scene. And then even so, I've got a grab feature where I can grab the individual lights. If I want to grab this one, that's when it grabs. Let's see, I grab this one's the same one. No, okay, it grabs that one. And so now I can individually change these. Yeah, I changed the Light Magic add-on. Yeah, I had to get rid of that. That thing is just terrible. So I had the 4.6 version, which I updated considerably. Yeah, this one has the LM1, which you can append random lighting in. It's a geometry node setup. It's insane. There's no limitation to the amount of options that you have with that. And in fact, we could just light the scene with that. It does require a mesh, so I'll just do a Shift D copy of that. Once I let's see, did I already Shift D? I did. Okay, so then you can append the random lighting to this, and you'll have all these distance calculations here where your lighting will come out and you'll be able to see it. And then we can increase the light count, which is pretty crazy. And we've got the light scale. You can come here and kind of bring the lights. Oops, I'm bringing all this other stuff with it. Man, I am really slugging out here. That's that displacement, man. It just takes so much memory. And it looks like I'm getting beat up here because I got my random switch on. I almost forgot how to use my own add-on. And so now we can actually scale the lights down to something meaningful. That's a little better. And so when you come in here and randomize, and I must have pulled up one of my beta versions because none of my buttons are over here. And you come over here and randomize, and you come in, and then you have all of these lights that you can kind of change. You can add tons and tons of them. I don't think you need that many, but whatever you want to do. It'll run like a dream for the most part when you're not doing something like a displacement, so you're going to have to be kind of careful. And then, of course, the Light Magic add-on, if I go to LM1, which is the main bulk of everything, it's got custom lights. It's got a little algorithm built into it to place lights along a mesh, and it reads the mesh. So it's pretty cool. I know I'm going long here. It's much longer than I intended. But you can come in here and see the area lights. You can grab them. This is a much better setup than the previous one. I come through here and like change all these as I wish. And then I can, of course, make these a little bit bigger, diffuse it, bring the distance out so it's not so bright. That's a little bit better. I still got to work on how it appends in, because those lights were kind of in the way. So if you bring this back down, once I can get it to work, you can change all the different lights, the colors, and so on, whatever you want to do. You can turn on some names. You can see the names when you click them. Maybe not with the geometry nodes, but if I go back to LM2, you can see I've got a light count here. I can kind of bring that up, and then I can randomize these lights, and it's going to kind of play a lottery game based on logic to pick what color in what position, because it's going to rotate based on the number of lights, the randomization, the distance, and the mesh count value, which you can change that and get some more variations, but I'm not going to do too much more of that. And that's it, guys. Appreciate you watching. Go ahead and subscribe, smash that like button. I'll see you guys in the next tutorial, and don't forget, I got tons of free add-ons, and if you join the Patreon, you'll get access to all of my add-ons with the higher tiers, or the lower tiers, you can just support the channel and get one free add-on a month, and it won't be a cheesy add-on. It'll be something good, and I'll put a link down below for my Gumroad so you guys can check that out. And don't forget to pick up the free i2M test add-on. That way you can get this and start making some really cool stuff. And I will see you guys in the next tutorial lesson.